On Global TV News Prime, Senate President Godswill Akpabio swears in two newly elected senators. In business, President Bola Tinubu urges Senate to approve $2.34 billion loan. On the foreign scene, International Committee of the Red Cross decries medicine shortage in DR Congo. And in the world of sports, Kadri Aruna retains Africa's #1 sport at the International Table Tennis Federation World Rankings. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Mukhtar Kasim. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. And now, the news in details. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has sworn in two newly elected senators to serve for the remaining terms of 2 years, replacing former senators from their senatorial district. Senator Joseph Ikpia, Edo Central, has replaced Senator Monday Okwebolo, who is now the governor of Edo State, while Senator Emmanuel Nwachukwu, Anambra South, replaces late Senator Ifeanyi Patrick, who died last year. They were ushered to their respective seats by the sergeant at arms and served each with a copy of the Nigerian Constitution and a copy of the standing orders to guide their conduct as senators while in the chamber. Meanwhile, newly elected senators Joseph Ikpia and Emmanuel Nwachukwu were on Wednesday sworn in as substantive lawmakers. Topsy Kimba has details.
Lawmakers took their oaths of office representing Edo Central and Anambra South senatorial districts, while Ikpia will be taking the place of Governor Monday Okwebolo in Edo State. Nwachukwu of the All Progressives Grants Alliance (APGA) will replace the late Senator Ifeanyi Uba. In his remarks before the oath-taking,
well-being and prosperity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I will strive to preserve the fundamental objectives and direct principles of state policy.
The President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, welcomed the lawmakers to the chambers and the dignitaries that accompany them. He admonished the lawmakers to carry out their functions as nationalists and not only as ambassadors to their senatorial district. Akpabio asked that 2 books be given to the newly sworn-in senators: the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the standing rules of the Senate to guide their legislative work.
You are no longer a senator of your political party. You are a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Once you step into this chamber, you drop your party outside and come in here as a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria with the intention of carrying out and contributing to debates and other functions here as a nationalist.
Topsy Gimba reporting for Global TV News.
Let's move away from legislative matters, where the Nigerian police says enforcement of the vehicle tinted glass permit has been suspended following a court order halting the exercise. Spokesman for the Federal Capital Territory Police Command, SP Josephine Ade, disclosed this in an interview with newsmen. Addressing public concerns about the purpose of the tinted regulation, Ade clarified that it was introduced for security reasons, noting that some criminal activities had been carried out using vehicles with darkened windows. The Federal Capital Territory Minister, Nyesom Wike, has officially flagged off a key project for the provision of engineering infrastructure to Asakworo Guzape district of the nation's capital. The project aims to enhance development, improve connectivity, and boost socio-economic growth across the Federal Capital Territory. Our correspondent, Kabir Hassan, reports.
The flag-off comes as part of the Federal Capital Territory Administration renewed agenda to boost infrastructure development across the nation's capital. The FCT Minister Nyesom Wike says the administration remains committed to the continuous provision of infrastructure across the Federal Capital Territory.
We will continue to provide basic infrastructure. We'll continue to do all we can to see that Abuja takes a different look, competes with other cities of the world.
The project, with the provision of full engineering infrastructure to outstanding areas within the Asokoro-Guzapi district, is being expected to be completed within 18 months and will cover 24 short roads, totaling 9.2 kilometers. Wike commended President Bola Tinubu for keeping his promises under the Renewed Hope agenda, assuring that the FCT will continue to reflect the vision of the current administration.
Mr. President has promised all of us, not only just those in Abuja, those who are living outside Abuja, that we are different. And that's the sense of Renewed Hope agenda. If things were good, we wouldn't have had the Renewed Hope agenda.
The project, when completed, is expected to improve security, enhance accessibility, and raise the living standard of residents within the area, as the residents of the district say that the new infrastructure will further open up the area for development. Kabir Hassan, reporting for Global TV News.
Has condemned what it described as another disturbing act of vandalism on the Lagos-Ibadan standard gauge railway corridor. The incident occurred between Agege and Agbado stations, where unidentified persons allegedly tampered with critical signaling component used in coordinating train movement. A statement by the corporation's Chief Public Relations Officer, Callistus Unyimadu, says the vandalized items include the removal of signal machine cap protectors and the cutting of connection cables on a switch point machine. The damage was discovered during a routine inspection. In another development, the Federal Road Maintenance Agency has launched a special intervention codenamed Operation Safeguarding the Roads, aimed at reducing traffic crashes in Kogi State. The program was inaugurated by Mukhtar Abdurrahim, the Federal Road Maintenance Engineer in the state, at Ochedamu along the Itobe-Ayengba Road. Abdurrahim explained that the initiative seeks to enhance the efficiency of federal roads for motorists while providing opportunities for youth along the road corridor. You're watching the live broadcast of News Prime. When the News Prime returns, House of Representatives rejects United States bill alleging killing of Christians in Nigeria. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back from that break, and now to business news, where President Bola Tinubu has urged the Senate to approve the implementation of the new external borrowing plan in the 2025 Appropriation Act. The Tinubu, in a letter read by the President of the Godswill Akpabio during plenary, said the action has become necessary to cover parts of the budget deficit and ensure Nigeria meets its debt obligations. Topsy Gimba has details.
President Tinubu, in his letter to the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajudeen Abbas, sought the National Assembly's resolution to raise external capital totaling over $2.3 billion. The President also proposed the issuance of a standalone $500 million sovereign sukuk aimed at attracting Sharia-compliant investments and funding key infrastructure projects. The letter cites provisions of the Debt Management Office Establishment Act of 2003, seeking legislative capital markets through Eurobonds, syndicated loans, bridge financing, or direct borrowing from global financial institutions. President Tinubu explained that the move is to ensure Nigeria meets its debt obligations without default and continues to diversify funding sources for infrastructure development.
1,843,669,786 naira 98 kobo, which is equivalent to $1,229,113,000. The proposal is for the House of Representatives to approve the issuance of a standalone debit sovereign sukuk with or without credit enhancement guarantee.
Also, Speaker Tajudeen welcomed members back describing the session as a defining midpoint for the 10th Assembly. He reaffirmed the House's commitment to collaborate with the executive on policies to stabilize the economy, attract investments, and improve citizens' welfare.
Attention must turn to several urgent priorities. Chief among them is the constitutional amendment. 87 proposals concerning devolution of powers, local government autonomy, judicial reform, and socio-economic rights await debate and voting.
The House is expected to deliberate on the President's external borrowing requests in the coming days, alongside other legislative priorities aimed at strengthening governance and stimulating Nigeria's economic recovery. From the National Assembly, Aniete Patrick, reporting for Global TV.
The House of Representatives has called on the executive arm of government to ensure a coherent and transparent regulatory framework that sanitizes the digital lending space while protecting consumers and giving confidence to investors, telecom operators, and fintech players. This was the resolution of the House following a motion raised on the matters of urgent national importance moved by Nnamdi Ezechi from Delta State at plenary.
According to Ezechi, there is need to address the overlapping jurisdictions, procedural gaps, and investor concerns arising from the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission. Part of the resolution of the motion mandates the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, Central Bank of Nigeria, Nigeria Investment Promotion Commission, and Altcon to suspend compliance directives relating to the said regulations until issues of overlap and ambiguity are addressed.
Mandate the Nigerian Communication Commission, NCC, Central Bank of Nigeria, Nigeria Investment Promotion Commission, and Atom to suspend their further actions, constitute a special ad hoc committee.
Ruling on the motion, Speaker Tajuddin Abbas noted that an ad hoc would be constituted to investigate the concerns raised by stakeholders and by extension engage with FCCPC, NCC, CB, NDPC, NIPC, Altton, and other players, and a proposed harmonized framework. In another development, the House of Representatives is calling for urgent action to tackle the rising wave of insecurity across parts of Kwara State, particularly in the Ifelodun, Ofa, and Oyo Federal Constituency. This follows a motion moved on the floor of the House by Tijani Ismail, who represents the constituency, expressing the concern over the recurring violent attacks that have left many dead and several communities displaced.
Urge the Chief of Defense Staff, Inspector General of Police, Commandant General of Civil Defense to intensify deployment and coordinated security operations in affected areas. Direct NEMA to provide urgent humanitarian relief to the displaced persons.
In its resolution, the House commiserated with the victims' families and affected communities, while urging the Chief of Defense Staff, the Inspector General of Police, and the Commandant General of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps to intensify coordinated security operations in the affected areas. Aniete Patrick, reporting for Global TV.
Fuel queues have resurfaced in parts of the Federal Capital Territory as panic buying grips motorists across the city. The situation, which has persisted through the week, has raised concerns among residents about a possible return of fuel scarcity. Our correspondent, Zara Unasir, takes a look at the report.
Panic buying of petrol, often triggered by fears of supply shortages or price increase, has once again led to long queues at several filling stations in the Federal Capital Territory. Some motorists say the situation is worsened by the closure of other stations liking the product, leaving only NNPC outlets and a few major marketers dispensing fuel to the public.
It will be as a result of the Pengasting 3-day strike. I think they've called it off. Everything will soon return to normalcy.
Few filling stations, they are all shut down, no fuel. So to me, I'm beginning to think maybe the fuel subsidy is about to revolve again.
An official of one of the filling stations who spoke on condition of anonymity attributed the development to the ripple effect of last month's strike, which disrupted loading and distribution activities across depots. Nigerians are now calling on relevant authorities and stakeholders in the oil sector to address the situation promptly to prevent a full-blown fuel scarcity. Zahra Nasser reporting for Global TV News.
And now to news making rounds on the foreign scene. The House of Representatives has rejected the narratives that frame Nigeria's security crisis as a singular religious conflict or as a state-sponsored persecution, and reaffirms Nigeria's constitutional protection for freedom of religion and belief. This was the position of the House following a motion raised on the matters of urgent national importance moved by Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu and other members. Our correspondent, Anita Patrick, has details.
The external legislative actions based on incompetent assessments risks undermining Nigerian sovereignty and misrepresenting facts.
Based on incomplete or decontextualized assessment, risks undermining Nigeria's sovereignty.
Members on the floor also registered their opinions while proposing measures necessary towards redeeming the image of the nation.
That it is a deliberate attempt to damage Nigeria's image.
We must re-engineer our parliamentary diplomacy.
What we are seeing here is global politics, and we cannot shy away from it.
The House also resolved to constitute a dialogue panel to interface with the United States for holistic resolution. Meanwhile, the House has again employed the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to without delay provide relief materials to victims of the recent boat mishap in Kogi State.
Mandate the Committee on Safety Standards and Regulations and National Inland Waterway to evaluate and receive briefings on safety measures from the Federal Ministry of Transportation.
Speaker Tajudeen Abbas, who presided at plenary, also directed relevant committees to seek further approach in implementing all legislative resolve. Anita Patrick, reporting for Global TV.
The International Committee of the Red Cross says more than 80% of healthcare facilities have exhausted their supplies of essential medicines in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, where violence continues unabated. Head of the ICRC delegation, Francis Morelion, stated this during a press conference in Kinshasa. The International Committee of the Red Cross is all more alarmed as the situation on ground is deteriorating. Our correspondent, Uyi Agmomofwegbe, has details.
For 30 years, the country's mineral-rich east has been torn apart by conflict, with violence intensifying earlier this year since the M23, a Rwanda-backed armed group, seized the key cities of Goma and Bukavu. Clashes between the M23 and the Congolese army and allied militia have left thousands dead and millions displaced since January. Meanwhile, a U.S.-brokered peace deal between the DRC and Rwanda in June is proving slow to take effect on the ground. In September, the International Committee of the Red Cross studied 240 health centers and clinics in North and South Kivu provinces, where the front line has been stable since March. Uyi Agmofwegbe, reporting for Global TV News.
Talking sports, where Nigeria's promising table tennis stars Matthew Kuti and Moise Adegoke made notable progress in the latest International Table Tennis Federation World Ranking for week 41, as both players climbed 5 places each in a week that saw renewed Nigerian movement across the global standings. Veteran Quadri Aruna remains Nigeria's highest-ranked player, holding firm in 25th place with 1,185 points. The 37-year-old continues to lead Africa's contingent ahead of Egypt's Omar Assar and Yusuf Abdelaziz, who sit outside the global top 30. Aruna's consistency at the top level reflects his enduring dominance, as he remains one of the few African players consistently competing on the world table tennis circuit. And now moving to football, where head coach of Nigeria's under-20 women's national team, Moses Aduku, has charged the country's under-17 side, the Flamingos, to remain focused and united as they prepare for the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup in Morocco. Aduku visited the team's camp in Abuja to deliver a motivational message to the players, urging them to play with belief and discipline as they aim to make history for Nigeria on the global stage. Now, as Global TV News Prime comes to an end, here is a recap of our top stories. President Bola Tinubu, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has sworn in 2 newly elected senators to serve the remaining terms of 2 years, replacing former senators from their respective senatorial zones. In business, President Bola Tinubu has urged the Senate to approve the implementation of the new external borrowing plans in the 2025 Appropriation Act to refinance maturing Eurobonds. On the foreign scene, we brought to you that the International Committee of Red Cross says more than 80% of health facilities have exhausted their supplies of essential medicines in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, where violence continues unabated. And in sport, veteran Quadri Aruna remains Nigeria's highest-ranked player, holding firm in 25th place with 1,185 points. The 37-year-old continues to lead Africa's contingent ahead of Omar's Assar and Yusuf Abdulaziz, who sits outside the global top 30. Now that's it on Global TV News Prime. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using at Global TV NG. I am Mukhtar Kasim, saying a very big thank you for watching.
Thank you.